Hello guys, it's Sebastian and welcome to the fourth episode of my Puhon podcast. And I'm just super duper excited to start today's podcast episode because it has actually really been a while since the last time that I recorded a podcast episode, though it isn't as noticeable in my YouTube channel just because it is consistent, but it's actually been like 2 weeks since I recorded a podcast episode, and I'm just super duper excited to get back to it again. And I was actually supposed to film tomorrow. Today is the 6th of May, by the way. It is a Thursday, and I'm supposed to film tomorrow, which is Friday, obviously, just because I just finished filming my last week of high school like a few days ago, and I just finished editing it like yesterday as well. That's why I wanted to take the day off today, but I just decided that if I were to just record this podcast episode tomorrow, I'd have more things to do by then. That's why I just decided to kind of like divide the work and to do one by tonight, and that is this podcast episode. And I'm just super duper excited to talk about today's topic, which is personal development. So for the past weeks, I've asked you guys in my Instagram stories on what topics you'd want me to talk about on my future episodes, aka this one being one of that future podcast episodes. And one of the answers there was this one, which is the personal development. But basically, I would not go like super duper crazy with today's topic. Like I would not go full on Simon Freud theories and all that, but basically I would just tell you guys based off my personal experience, basically all of the topics that I'd be talking about here in my podcast episodes. It would mainly be more on my personal experiences rather than something that is already proven to be true. I mean, based off studies and all that, basically because the stories that I'm also sharing are true. But yeah, anyway, this Puhon is kind of like more of personal stuff as compared to like academic or professional tone, if I may say so myself. And yeah, I actually cannot believe that this is my 4th episode already. I'm just super lucky that you guys are still here with me. And by the time this podcast episode would be up, I am already more than a year into doing YouTube videos, and I'm just super duper happy for the support that you've been giving me ever since I began this journey, and I hope you guys would stay here for a bit longer. And yeah, I just wanted to show some appreciation for you guys because this channel surely wouldn't be where it is right now if it weren't for you guys. I talk like I already have a lot of subscribers, but yeah, I'm just so thankful for each one of you. And yeah, okay, so enough of the blabbering. I would now go into today's topic, which is personal development. So I actually have here my phone because I written a while ago some key points just because I have this tendency to forget like the strong points that a podcast episode could have. So I just decided to write it here in my notes a while ago. You guys cannot see it if you're on Spotify, but this is what I have right now, and that's what we would be going through tonight. And so basically we would first be defining what personal development is, and I actually did search this a while ago. So basically personal development in the simplest terms is quote unquote the ongoing act of assessing your life goals and values and building your skills and qualities to reach full potential. So basically it also coexists with self-discovery, because without you discovering who you really are, without you discovering your strengths, your weaknesses, your toxic traits, the things you're good at, the things you're passionate about, the things you would like to avoid doing, without those, how would we even be able to develop or to grow as people? And yeah, because personal development for me is not just about the ups and fulfilling one's dreams and just doing things that you're passionate about. It's also about the rock bottoms, the lows, getting no's onto being a step closer to your dream. You wouldn't always constantly get yeses in your life, and that is completely okay. Getting a no doesn't mean you're failing in life already. Maybe that is just a redirection of where you're truly supposed to be. And I like to think it that way, most especially when things do not go the way I want them to in the first place. But I don't know if that's just merely romanticizing or that is just a toxic positivity. But basically, that's how I've been viewing it lately. Like, if this thing isn't for me, maybe he knows what's better for me. That's why he's kind of redirecting me into this path. Like, that's how my mindset has been since the beginning of this pandemic, I feel like. And yeah, just like any other thing, personal development isn't just about the rainbows. It is also about the rain which brought the rainbows, aka it also encompasses the struggles and not just the sweet bits of victory. Once you've already developed, or once you've already grown into the person whom you've always wanted to be, and that is completely okay. Because for example, in as simple as riding a bike, you wouldn't eventually get your balance right away. You would have to fall down quite a couple of times, or you would be needing training wheels. So in this journey of personal development, I would like to see the training wheels as the people who are supporting you in this personal development journey of yours. And that could be your parents, your friends, your relatives, even your teachers and all that. It could range from a lot of people from different sectors of points and views in life. And that, I think, is one of the most magical things with personal development, is that even though the name implies that it is a personal thing, the people around you could also have a great impact as to how your journey would feel like for you. Because, for example, if you'd want to be a better person, but the people that are surrounding you aren't patient with you and constantly just point out things that aren't good about you in a harsh way, like, is that even a sign for you to be with them in this personal development journey of yours? You would want to have people who are really, really supportive of the changes that you want to happen in yourself. And by changes, I mean how you treat people in general, because that's what basically the focus of today's topic would be. It would be about our attitude towards people and how we deal with people, how we just talk with them, how we mingle with them, how we just treat people in general. And yeah, however, of course, the journey here doesn't actually begin with the people who would be supporting you through it all. The journey, I feel like, of personal development, most especially when it comes to your attitude, starts the moment you acknowledge the toxic traits that you have. Or basically when you could already identify things you'd want to turn around for you to be better with people, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, I feel like that is the turning step, because even though I feel like you're surrounded with a great circle of very supportive friends, family members, relatives that are really, really supporting you in that personal development journey of yours, but if you're not open to the fact that there could also be a fault on your end sometimes, that's where the problem lies in. So basically, I really feel like the first step in personal development, more specifically when it comes to your attitude, is acknowledging that you have these toxic traits. And what are you going to do with it? You would be removing them, because toxicity does no good in life, be it with yourself, how you treat other people. Toxicity is just, as what the name implies, it's toxic. So, folks, get rid of it. And yeah, for some people's journey on personal development, though, this might not be the first step towards it, but most people, I feel like, or for the most part, for me, that is where my journey of personal development began. The moment that I acknowledged that I do have some toxic traits and that I do need to fix it as soon as I can, without really forcing or rushing myself, to also not affect the future relationships that I'd be having. And by relationships, I'd not just mean romantic relationships, but also friendships, because those are also relationships. And yeah, I said a while ago that having a solid support system is super duper important in this one, because sometimes you would feel bad about yourself, and to have people who just support you through it all instead of constantly shaming you for having that toxic trait is just super duper important for me. I don't know if that is just a hashtag Libra thing, but yeah, I feel like that's how I've been doing it lately. Not that I'm dependent on other people, but I just also would want to have someone that I can lean on without fully depending everything on them, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like there is a perfect formula to balance the thing wherein you're too dependent and then you just do not care about other people. There is a right formula to balance those both, and to be in between, and to be in a place where you are accepting of what others are telling about you, and that you also have that sense of independence in a way. So yeah, that's just that. And yeah, actually this journey that I've been with personal development isn't the longest one I've had, to be honest. I recently just started this one, like this pandemic, I feel like. And this pandemic actually changed me a lot, because then I used to be like the type of person who, is always like one call away friend. I mean, even up to this day, though, I am still that kind of friend, but I am a bit more distant now. I was the type of person before who would constantly open up to my friends about my problems. But this pandemic, because it's so hard to open up to people without knowing if they are okay, because what if the person that I'm about to open to also has his or her own problems, and that opening up to them just makes things worse for them in a way. And so that's how I've been thinking lately, just because I do not also get to talk to my friends that often, just because, we just function under different environments differently. And so I respect that. And my camera's blinking at me, so I'll just be back again. Hello guys, so I am back. So yeah, basically I feel like we just work under different environments or different scenarios. For example, this COVID thing, like we just respond to it differently. Like not all of us are alike, and I totally respect how each of my friends cope up with it. As long as they are okay, then I'm cool with that. And we all know that we are always here for each other anyway, so like that's also a good thing. And also this pandemic gave me a way to be kinder to myself in a way. Not that I'm romanticizing in one way or another this pandemic, because it has actually caused a lot of lives, a lot of traumas, a lot of pain. It exposed a lot of dirty works and all that. But basically, in a way, I have been mastering, I feel like, the art of validating the emotions that one could possibly ever have. Because for example, when I have problems before, like when we are still in the face-to-face classes, I could easily distract myself because I have friends that I could just talk to anytime, that I could just, hang out with anytime, most especially when we were still in school. But right now, that's just super duper hard to do because, we're basically just left with ourselves for the most part at this point in time, to be honest. And yeah, through this, I feel like I was just able to really feel what I feel, if that makes any sense at all. I know it sounds super duper weird, but to feel what you really feel is super duper important, because then this was a toxic trait of mine before. I used to invalidate my feelings a lot. Like when COVID was still starting and all that, I wasn't the kindest person to myself. Like I would invalidate my feelings. Like for example, if I have this problem, I would always constantly tell myself that, okay, don't worry about that. Some people have even bigger problems than you, yet you're here suffering over that problem. Like, are you kidding me? And for a while, that's how I've been doing it. But then I decided that, wait, I need to actually take a step back and I need to validate my feelings. Because if I were to invalidate my feelings, that just allows me to normalize other people to also invalidate my feelings on the long run, which is super not good at all, because you'd want to surround yourself with people who care about you. And I do not mean that in a narcissistic tone, in a self-centered tone, in a self-indulgent tone. Yeah, I just mean that in the tone that is raw, honest, I feel like, because that's what everybody deserves. They just deserve at the end of the day, being surrounded with people who genuinely care about them. And so yeah, that's how I've been doing it for the most part of my life. And I didn't even realize that that was a toxic trait until I found out. Like, I just found out one day, like, I was staring at a blank wall and I just suddenly realized if I could invalidate my feelings, then it is likely that I'd also give other people the power to invalidate me as a person in the long run. And that's a bad thing. So I wanted to correct it. And since then, I've just been facing my emotions, my feelings, like my real feelings, acknowledging the problem, searching for solutions and what I can do to solve the problem or to just ease the pain of the problem if I could not solve it immediately. And yeah, that's just how the pandemic changed me in general. And given that, because like what I've said a while ago, my friends before can distract me of my problems like that I've had before. And now that I just do not constantly have them, it's just something that has affected me a lot. And with that, I just overthink things more now, more than ever. And it is a process that I'm still working on. It is still a thing, to be honest, that I'm struggling with, but thank God I'm doing something about it. And yeah, right now it is just not, I overthink more at this point in time already. I feel like I just became more conscious as a person, like about the things I say. Like before I say something, before I let out a statement, I always question myself, are your emotions right now affecting what you are saying? Or is this really what the neutral state of Sebastian would say? That is a question that I always tell myself before I send a message, for example, or a reply to somebody. And yeah, I feel like it is just the fear of being called insensitive and manipulative kicking in. But yeah, of course, those are the last things that I want to be regarded as. And so, I've really been trying to better myself in a way and to just constantly also remind myself that I cannot be everything and I cannot do everything, and that is completely okay. Why? Because basically that's the reason why we are born with different skill sets. It's because at the end of the day, we would all be needing each other. That is why I also do not find the need to contribute in the heightening of certain issues that tear the mark of humanity. That is something that I would never take part in. Like, why would you even involve yourself in an issue that would tear humanity in the long run? That is something I would not want to do, because we are one, as cliche as that sounds and as cheesy as that sounds, we are one in the end. And yeah, this personal development, of course, starts with oneself. But yeah, like what I said earlier in this episode, the support of the group of people that surround you could also play a super duper important role in this personal development journey of yours. And also with this journey or with this process of personal development, know that it is okay to be slow. Just take your time and, just do not let people pressure you to be the best version of yourself, as cheesy as it sounds, in less than a heartbeat. This process takes as long as several lifetimes combined, if I may say so myself. Or if not, maybe just, this personal development could cover up one's entire life. And there is nothing wrong with that. Because if you were to rush this process, if you were to rush your growth, is that even what growth is about? And yeah, just understand that we all have different pacings in life, and the pacings that we have in life are the best pacings for us. So may we always be kind to people, and let's just accept people and support them instead of shaming them for not being fast in this personal development journey. And yeah, as of the moment, those are the only things that I could think of. So yeah, I'd just like to take this time to also thank my family and my friends for being patient with me, that I can be a better person, and that I can be a better friend, that I can be a better student, that I can be a better son, that I could be a better person in general. And yeah, that's just basically it. I feel like that is the end of this podcast. I felt like I talked too much, but looking at the time right now in front of me, I only recorded for like 33 minutes. But basically, this podcast could even be like trimmed down to like 20 minutes or less than that. And yeah, if you guys reached until this part of the podcast, know that I am proud of you and that we are proud of you for taking small steps in pursuing your journey here in personal development. And it is not the easiest road to take, of course, but the fact that we are doing something about what we want to be better in, that says a lot. That speaks volumes. And yeah, I guess this is the end of this podcast. This has been Sebastian, and I hope that we could spread love a little more often. I'll see you next week for a new video, and I'll see you next week for a new podcast episode, or for my 5th podcast episode. Wow, this feels so surreal. Like a few months ago, I was just thinking of what topics I could have, and now I just finished recording my 4th podcast episode. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for supporting me. And yeah, so basically that's just that. I'll see you again next time, and bye bye. Stay safe.